It's for general officers to the ranks of brigadier general and lieutenant. Internet resumes in Uganda after month-long shutdown during its presidential elections. And in Kenya, a company invented new measures to beat the second wave of locust invasions. These and more coming on the world today. Stay tuned. Good evening, you're watching the World News Bulletin with me, Sohna Tunkara, and now to our news in detail. The Gambian president today decorates 4 general officers to the ranks of brigadier general and lieutenant general respectively. The promotion is part of the president's security sector reform of the Gambia Armed Forces, and in the quest to build a professional force, President Barrow has renewed his pledge to transform the Gambia Armed Forces into a professional force that conforms to international standards. For the president, the military is an integral part of his development agenda for the country and beyond. Here's an excerpt of his speech.
Obvious link between security and national development. As law enforcement and security agents, you will be confronted continuously with complex situations that require thoughtfulness and professionalism. This is particularly relevant as we transition into a new development phase, while trying to reorient the people within the current fragile democratic environment. Your work as law enforcement and security personnel involve frequent interventions to cope different forms of crimes. Such crimes perpetrated both in neighboring lands and our own territory include cyber threats, civil disturbances, drug trafficking, and acts of terrorism. Because they are of great concern to all of us, it is imperative that we work collaboratively and mutually to make the Gambia the peaceful and stable nation we envision.
That was the president speaking during the swearing-in ceremony of 4 general officers who were promoted to various ranks at the State House today. Now, the United Democratic Party is branded as the main opposition party in the Gambia. The party's spokesperson, Almame Fandintal, has told iAfrica TV that UDP have a critical mass majority and capable professionals across the board. More of that in this report by Ndai Sise.
The Gambia emerged from a very difficult economic situation in 2016 after 22 years of dictatorial rule under exiled former President Yahya Jammeh. Opposition political parties, including UDP, were subjected to frequent arrest, intimidation, and illegal harassment during former regime. Since the removal of the former president, the UDP party manned some of the key positions in coalition government before its party leader and his colleagues were relieved of their duties by the president in March 2019. However, speaking to iAfrica TV, the party spokesperson Almame Fandintal says no party can be compared to UDP, cognizant that the party has hardworking people and talented professionals at all levels.
I think there can be no doubt that organizationally, no party can touch UDP. We have the critical mass of very capable professionals across the board who can really offer Gambia a genuine alternative to this politics of just mudslinging and saying things that are not useful to anybody, and going back and forth about the past or trying to bring someone like former President Jammeh.
As the West African country heads to the poll in December 2021, political parties are busy unveiling their manifesto and hopes of sweeping the polls. Mr. Tal says he is optimistic that Ousainou Darboe will be the 4th president of the Gambia.
This is part of the readiness to go to the State House in 2021. We have no doubt whatsoever that lawyer Ousainou Darboe will be the 4th president of the Gambia.
The United Democratic Party, UDP, was founded in 1996 by 3 political parties, PPP, NCP, GPP, and chose lawyer Ousainou Darboe to be the party leader and secretary general. The Yellow Party played a vital and leading role in the formation of the coalition 2016 that succeeded in unseating the former president Yahya Jammeh. But the relations between President Barrow and his former deputy Ousainou Darboe has since deteriorated due to unconfirmed disagreements during his time in the coalition government. For iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
And from that report by Ndai Cisse, moving to the matters of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, a one-time Justice Minister, Lawyer Lamin Jabate, denies participation in torture of Farafenni rebel attackers, saying their apprehension met him outside the country. He also says he was unaware of the execution of the 9 death row inmates and has no information about how it happened. But Consul Essa Fall caught up with him and he had to change some parts of his testimony in the end. This story was filed in by Omar Ahmad Toure and narrated by Ndai Cisse.
Lamin Jabate, alias Babandin Jabate, has been adversely mentioned in torture. Some of his former colleagues from NIA corroborated this fact with 2 Farafenni rebel attackers who accused him of torturing them. But Jobate denies this, saying he wasn't in the country when the event unfolded. He had to present his old passport to support his claim but got caught in the thick of his games.
The stamp that shows depart is from Senu Bamako in 8 October 1996. That is when you depart Bamako.
No, I don't. Thank you anyway.
But can we move, please?
Well, he wants to show us that he has traveled out of the country.
No, I am wrong.
Thank you very much.
In 2012, President Yahya Jammeh had vowed to kill all 47 death row inmates, and in August that year, 9 people, including 1 woman, were removed from their prison cells and executed on Thursday night. Lamin Jobate was Justice Minister at the time 9 inmates were executed, but he denies knowledge of their execution. He initially condemned it but got caught again for the second time when his justification of the killing was read before him from Jollof News.
I'm not sure of my exact words, some of which I do not attribute to, but I know I made certain statements during those meetings regarding the justification.
So you justified it?
You see, what I do know, Mr. Fall, I am on the oath, I cannot lie.
Mr. Jabate, just answer the question. We all saw you when you took the oath. Just answer the question. Did you give justification?
As far as I am concerned, yes.
Gambia's former president Yahya Jammeh ruled the Gambia for 22 years with the help of 2 institutions, the National Intelligence Agency (NIA) and the Junglers, a paramilitary hit squad. Violations committed by 2 are brought to light by the Truth Commission. The NIA under Jammeh enjoyed sweeping powers with overriding powers over police and other security agencies, even though they are an intelligence agency. Several of their victims were political detainees and perceived enemies of Jammeh. For iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
As more witnesses continue to appear before the Gambia's Truth Commission to give narration of their ordeals, Ugandans are happy to be back online after the government shut down the country's internet and blocked social media platforms, including WhatsApp, during last month's presidential elections. The government's decision was widely criticized as many sectors, including businesses, were hardly impacted for not being connected to the wall. Now, authorities of the East African country defended the move, saying it was for national interest.
Sandra Namara is happy to be back online. She often uses social media platforms to connect with customers for her flowers and gift business. But last month, the Uganda government blocked internet platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, and even Twitter. Namara says it put a huge dent in her earnings.
It was so sad we couldn't reach our diaspora clients because they're online and we're not online. You find that clients want you to show them the photos of the things you have. You can't explain over phone.
Namara is not alone. E-commerce businesses, schools, and even public services were impacted. The month-long shutdown was imposed during the country's general elections in January. Authorities say it was for national security reasons.
A lot was being planned using the different platforms. So having done what was done, saved us as a nation, made sure that at least there was peace and stability for the electoral process to be concluded peacefully. And I believe, having seen now that the electoral process is almost over, we can now go back to normalcy.
The shutdown was widely criticized. According to civil society organizations, action blocking access to the internet was intended to silence voters in the wake of a hotly contested election. More than 10 million Ugandans were affected by the internet blackout, and while some social media platforms have now been restored, others like Facebook remain non-operational. The monetary impact of the shutdown still needs to be calculated, but digital campaigners say many sectors were affected and it will take a while to recover.
The truth of the matter is we went back something to do with 3 years back because of multiple challenges that now are going to happen. People who would have connected to the internet between this period are going to take 7 more months or even a whole year before they connect to the internet. And that is really a problem from whatever perspective you want to look at it. Whether it is citizen engagement, whether it is business, whatever it is, we have made it difficult for Ugandans to tap into the existing tools that make lives easier for everyone else outside Uganda.
Many Ugandans, including Namara, were able to get around the blackout by using virtual private networks. But not everyone was so savvy. Now that connectivity is back, she's eager to get back to business full time.
And from Uganda coming back home, the Gambia Police Force has decorated 65 of its personnel to the ranks of Superintendent Commissioners, amongst others. The decoration took place at the police headquarters in Banjul. Our reporter Binta Jallo attended the event and now she files in this report.
In the quest of police officers to give their very best in the service of their country and people, 65 police officers were decorated from the ranks of ASP to commissioners. This came after the decoration of 168 police officers in 2019. Promotions are rewarding and motivate police officers to continue providing services to the nation at large. Assistant Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Abba, dilated on the importance of the move and expressed gratitude to the officers.
Today's decoration ceremony heralds that we are off to a great start of this year and the months ahead. I pray that it stays this way throughout the year. Amen. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to state that the officers to be decorated here this morning are some of the finest police officers the Gambia Police Force can be proud of. Hence their promotions and decoration today. Amongst them, we have seasoned investigators, commanders, administrators, prosecutors, just to name a few. I will conclude by felicitating or congratulating the would-be decorated officers and their loved ones for this great achievement. Your promotions are added responsibilities, and the expectations become greater. Therefore, I challenge you all to live to those expectations.
Commissioner Lamin Banda spoke on his colleagues' behalf and challenged them to stay focused and determined.
Colleagues, your promotion is worth celebrating as a rarity. But be reminded that it's underpinned by critical thinking and decision making in complicated matters threatening peace, security, and social cohesion of the country, as well as support the police senior management to redirect, to refocus, and transform the security system administration and governance trajectory of our beloved motherland.
The Police Inspector General Mahmoud Diop outlined the work the government of the Gambia and the police has been engaged in to improve the sector.
With all their commitments, engagements, they responded to the call back to the police headquarters where they had commanded several years. And these personalities are in the name of His Excellency Jibril Diouf, and also His Excellency Landing Kinte, who I had served under him as Deputy Inspector General of Police, and now with all his busy schedules, just from Darfur, he decided to come and join this occasion where senior officers of the Gambia Police Force are being decorated.
This is the breakdown of the 65 promoted superior police officers. 2 officers to police commissioner, 4 to deputy commissioner, 6 to assistant commissioner of police, 5 to chief superintendent of police, 1 to superintendent of police, 13 to deputy superintendent of police, and 34 to assistant superintendent of police. Reporting for iAfrica TV, Binta Jallo.
The Gambia Police Force on Thursday promoted 65 superior officers to various ranks. We now go with a short commercial break and continue the news shortly after the break.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Welcome back. You're still watching The World Today, and now to the rest of our stories. Kenyan company invented new measures to beat the second wave of locust invasion as many countries across the country struggle to deal with the menace. The company's drone operators use biopesticides, which according to them takes more than 10 days to kill the locusts. Despite the continuous struggle against the locusts, the company's new approach yielded positive results.
In recent months, many African nations have struggled to deal with swarms of desert locusts that have devoured crops. Efforts to deal with the pests have not been that successful.
It's a tea farm, so this is planning we're doing the flight to set up.
Now, one Kenyan company is using technology to fight the locusts.
We've been given information by the scouts of where the swarm is, or the hopper bands, and we then proceed to that area. We first do a mapping session where we determine the size of the swarm, the extent of the swarm, before then spraying it.
The team members use biopesticides, which they say take 10 to 12 days to kill the locusts. To ensure safe and effective flying of the drones, precision is vital. One needs good psychomotor skills. Here, the drone pilot is checking his path, controlling the drone, and at the same time spraying the pesticides.
What has made us very successful with the locust work is just how dynamic the environment changes from day to day. Actually, we've not gone to a place where it has been similar in terms of terrain, in terms of vegetation, in terms of wind. in terms of the locust concentration. It's all been different. So the way we've been able to adapt is learning from the situation there and then. It's where the locusts, remember, we have to spray them very early in the morning before 10 o'clock, because after 10 o'clock, after roosting, that's when they start flying.
The locusts usually form into a swarm whose density can reach up to a whopping 80 million per square kilometer, eating massive amounts of crops and vegetation. They can reproduce very quickly and, if left unchecked, could multiply 20-fold in only 3 months and grow 400 times in half a year. But for Postal Aerial Solutions team, using drones to control the locust has been a success story so far.
We were called by the Ministry of Agriculture in Ethiopia to help with an emergency, which was the desert locust situation there. And we operated there for 1 month. We flew over 100 flying hours using the spraying drone, and we were able to cover around 2,000 hectares in total. And we had a very big impact. We killed pretty much a swarm every day.
Before they start every spraying mission, the team captures images of the locusts with another special fixed-wing drone to ensure accuracy when spraying. Africa is experiencing the second wave of locust invasion, and the accessibility by the drones in areas where it's a bit difficult for fixed-wing and helicopters is actually commendable. That's why they're largely used in this area of Africa. But for them now, their core business is to make sure they reduce the levels of locust attack in the continent.
Kenya has for years battled with locust invasion, but the country has come up with new measures that uses drone to help the fight. Now, Ghana's government decision to ban social events is taking toll on the country's hospitality industry. The move is meant to curtail the rapid spread of coronavirus cases, but business owners urge the authorities to reconsider their decision to avoid further complications in the sector. More in this report.
When Ghana went into a partial lockdown last year due to the outbreak of COVID-19, Veronica Mensah's business was hit hard. She says people who had contracted her to plan their events called to cancel and demanded their money back. Just when business started to pick up this year after restrictions were eased, a renewed ban on social events is once again threatening her business.
People are cancelling their bookings again and others are asking for a refund. The main problem is that we don't have the money to give them because we've used it to buy decoration materials. It would have been okay if they decided to postpone their events.
The government says the lack of enforcement of COVID-19 safety measures at parties has contributed to the surge in infections in Ghana. This company that hires out chairs has had all its bookings cancelled.
People do wedding during February 14, and this February 14 fell on a weekend. So it would have been a very good day for us to have more programs, and the lockdown came. So it's been hectic. Being able to pay your rent and other things is not easy.
While the ban is already taking its toll, some managers of event centers like this one say they can do things differently when allowed to operate.
Our outdoor space is more than 1 acre, and it can quite harbor people of over 500, including the social distancing and then a 1 meter and all that. And I think we, the outdoor event centers, we take the COVID-19 protocols very, very serious. We make sure you wash your hands before you come in, you check your temperature, you sanitize and all that. And we have personnel for that. So I think the government should look at the numbers and then let us resume.
It's unclear just when the ban will be lifted. The government, however, says it will allow private funerals and parties for up to 25 people. With the uncertainty of when the ban on social events will be lifted, some event organizers say it's going to be difficult to pay back their loans. They say while the ban holds, many people within the industry could lose their jobs. Like Veronica Mensah, many people employed within the hospitality industry in Ghana want the government to reconsider its ban on social events. They hope it's lifted soon to prevent their businesses from folding.
Coronavirus is still continuing to affect different sectors of life as Ghana bans social events. Now, the Gambia Postal Services Corporation, GAMPOS, on Wednesday presented its activity report and financial statement before the National Assembly Select Committee on Public Enterprise for the year end 2019. GAMPOS is responsible for managing and operating all postal services in the country. Mariama Cham tells us more.
Despite being the country's most postal service provider, GAMPOS continues to be dormant in providing adequate service delivery to the Gambian people. The Postal Service Corporation was established through various pieces of legislation of the government, which determined that all postal services in the country should be managed by a public company. Presenting its activity report before the National Assembly Enterprise Committee, GAMPOS Managing Director Fode M. Jaite argued that the institution encountered numerous challenges for the past years, ranging from a systematic comprehensive addressing post and unreliable flights. Mr. Jaite also highlighted some of the main challenges the institution is going through.
Several vacant positions at senior management level within the operations still to be filled and directly affecting operations. This is a serious constraint. And in my last appearance here, I actually overdwelled on this. I spoke about this a lot. I think I overspoke on this. I don't know, for some reason, because I was very worried about the situation of the institution. And I kept repeating this point. This is a serious constraint. All the management positions, almost all of them, are vacant for a number of years now.
After presenting the financial statement to PEC, the independent auditors gave their opinions on the balance sheet, statement of profit loss, and other financial activities.
The financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of affairs of Gambia Postal Services Corporation as at 31st December 2017, which comprise the balance sheet, the statement of profit and loss, statement of changes in equity and cash flow statements of the corporation for the period then ended.
Meanwhile, Halifa Saleh, chairman of the Public Enterprise Committee, emphasized that GAMPOS has a responsibility to provide efficient postal services to Gambians. He said the corporation is still vital in implementing its responsibilities.
Also know that these parcels cannot be transferred through internet. They cannot be transferred through WhatsApp. Parcels are material. So essentially the corporation is still vital.
The origins of the Department of Post began in 1958 when the British colonial government set up the postal service in the Gambia. The organization provides a variety of mail services, mainly in the delivery of letters, packages, and parcels. In 2012, GAMPOS signed a Memorandum of Understanding with DHL Gambia Limited to make delivery of mails reach customers faster. Among its services, the most used are the GAMPOS National Delivery and the Postal Money Transfer Service, also known as PMT. Since its creation, GAMPOS has also become a member of the Universal Postal Union, known as the UPU. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham.
Well, viewers, that was all from me and my crew on the wall today. You can stay tuned for more of our interesting programs. Wishing you a great weekend ahead. Bye for now.
Like other education or specialized training institutes in the Gambia, SNS Institute of Creative Design offers opportunities